My dad was part of a mermaid hunt for the elites. There are honestly just some topics of conversation that I can't introduce myself. Like, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I would have never thought I would come across a video like this. And I'm genuinely curious to know, out of all of the conspiracy theories that we speak about on this channel, do you guys genuinely believe that mermaids are real? Because this is a topic of conversation that we haven't touched on, and I'm extremely curious to see what he has to say. Make sure you guys do leave a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. But let's get into this, y'all.
So if I told you that my dad signed an NDA to hunt something that wasn't supposed to exist, and that the people funding it weren't scientists, but billionaires, you wouldn't believe me, but this was posted on a forum where people share their real supernatural encounters, and the details are much more terrifying. So I found this story buried on a thread where people anonymously confess strange things that they've experienced or that they've witnessed or that they had heard of. And this one story was about this guy who he had posted it and said his father worked for a private maritime security in the early 2000s. He was a former Navy, he was quiet, and he was disciplined, and he never really exaggerated anything. But when he was dying, he told his son something that he absolutely couldn't make sense of. And he said, "We weren't hunting sharks." Now, according to the post, his dad was contracted by a shell company connected to ultra wealthy collectors, right? Like, the job was escort a research vessel about 200 miles off the coast past normal shipping lanes, and there was no Coast Guard oversight, no official paperwork, and everything was sealed under NDAs. Now, the coordinates allegedly lined up disturbingly close to the area of the 1997 bloop, that sound that was detected by the Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So the father told him that was the reason that the investors got interested in that area in the first place. And they weren't looking for treasure, they weren't looking for proof of anything like that, but for 3 nights, nothing happened. And just open ocean and sonar, anomalies that technicians blamed on like thermal layers and BS like that. However, on the 4th night, just after 2 a.m., the sonar technician froze dead in his seat, and something was moving beneath them. It wasn't swimming, but it was pacing, and it was matching the boat's speed, like nose to nose, and it was large, he said. Now, the dad and 2 others were ordered to deploy a baited cage, and it was of like raw tuna and animal blood and, nothing really scientific, not careful, just bait just thrown out there, right? Well, that's when the water started to vibrate. And the post said his dad described a shape surfacing about 30 yards from the vessel. And at first, they thought it was, maybe a diver or pale, shoulders, long, like a long dark shark or something like that. But it wasn't treading water. It was perfectly still, and it was watching them. Now, the deck lights flickered and the radios cut to static immediately. And then the thing submerged without a splash. And moments later, something slammed the underside of the boat, and it was hard enough to knock one of the crew off of his feet.
Bro, what do you mean? What do you mean they were vibrating? Like, how did we get there? So you're telling me now that mermaids, or I believe the term that people use the most are sirens, control water?
Billionaire guests on board, yes, they were physically there, started arguing, and one of them wanted to capture it alive, and another just wanted footage. And this guy's father said that they lowered a reinforced net into the water and they caught something. But when they started hauling it up, the screaming began. And it wasn't mechanical, it wasn't a whale. They said that it sounded human, but it pierced their ears. And the dad said that he dropped his gloves because whatever was in that net started thrashing in a way that didn't make biological sense one bit. It was too strong and it was too coordinated. Then one of the cables actually snapped and the net plunged back into the black water, and the ocean went silent again. No more vibrating, no more splashes, no wake, just complete silence. The investors shut the operation down immediately on the spot, and everyone signed amended NDAs with heavier penalties, and the sonar logs were confiscated immediately, and the footage was...
Bro, you were just about to catch a mermaid and you shut it down, that makes absolutely no sense. If anything, you double down. Go and get it. Bro, what are we talking about? This is something that has been... Aliens and mermaids are the two things that have been discussed for years, bro. And you're telling me that you are literally in possession of a mermaid and you're going to let it go and end the operation. That makes no sense.
But here's the part that made the post even more disturbing when I found it. When his dad came home, he stopped eating seafood, like entirely. Wouldn't even sit near it, and once just got, you know, when he was watching this documentary about deep sea creatures, he muttered, "They're not animals." You know, and he was younger and he didn't really pick anything up. But, you know, before his dad died, he told his son something. And he said when the net came up for those few seconds under the floodlights, he saw a face. It wasn't a fish, but it was a human face with eyes that reflected like a cat's eyes or like a raccoon's eyes. And it had gills opening along the side of its ribs. Now, the forum post ended with this. He said, "Believe me or don't, but check missing yacht records from the region between 2003 and 2006. And there's a pattern. And my dad swore they weren't hunting a myth. They were trying to own one." So tell me, if creatures like that actually exist out there, do you think that they're hiding from us, or are we hiding from them? So
Nah, I personally think that they're hiding from us, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, part of me genuinely believes that mermaids exist, right? Sirens, mermaids, whatever you want to call it, aqua human, whatever you want to call it. I genuinely believe. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that 75% of this earth that we live on is submerged in water, and 75% of the ocean's domain is unexplored. That means there's what? However much percentage of this earth is not discovered. There are a lot of things that live in the crevices. We're still finding new species in forests. There are still fish being discovered to this day. I genuinely believe that there are mermaids of some capacity, some sort. They probably don't look as human as we believe they do, but they're not fully fish, and I believe that they're partly human, right? And I come across videos like this all the time.
Hold the damn sail, hold it! I'm trying! It's like a damn tree trunk! Get the pole across the chest, yeah, there! It's slipping, watch it, watch it! Press down! Damn thing's too strong! Yeah.
Look at the odds, man, Jesus.
Keep it pinned, don't let it roll! Hold the damn sail, hold it! I'm trying! It's like a damn tree...
Now, obviously, this video right here is AI. Okay, if it's not obvious to you, it's obvious to me that this video right here is AI, okay? But every AI edited video always looks like this. And I genuinely believe that things like this exist. I'm going to be completely honest with you, bro. Completely honest. Because even when we watch a video like this, it low-key aligns with the last story that we just listened to.
The video going around recently of those mermaids on the side of that ship in the middle of the ocean?
No.
What?
What are you talking about?
Are you serious?
Potential mermaids?
It's just a dude on a blurry cell phone video. It looks like a good cell phone video. And there's these things that are like racing on the side of the boat that are going the same speed as the boat. And there's like a tail or something trailing behind them. And this keeps up for hours. And then you start to hear whistling.
Let me
you
see
hear
this
tunes.
nonsense.
It's that you hear what sounds like one of them say "jump for me."
Oh God.
I hear it. I hear him. Where's she at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? That's crazy.
You ever seen that video going around recently?
Stuff like that, I genuinely believe. Genuinely believe. I'm not gonna lie. There are so many people who have to do these cross ocean travels with oil, with this and that and different resources. Bro, you're in a part of the world that is completely unexplored, right? So when a woman comes on here and says her mermaid encounter at the Gulfport beach, I'm just curious, yeah. I just want to hear what she has to say and see if it even comes remotely close to the things that we've just seen so far.
There's a lot of people that come to me asking about my mermaid experience and if I ever had one. I, in fact, had 2 mermaid experiences. I had one when I was about 6 or 7, and another
I'm going to be honest, off rip, I believe she's lying.
one in my early 20s. The one that happened when I was about 6 or 7 is the one that really still sticks with me to this day. So every summer, my parents chose a particular place to travel to. It didn't really matter where. We just like to travel around. And on this particular trip, they chose to go to Mississippi. Now, a lot of people don't realize that Mississippi has a beach. It's called Gulfport. Gulfport is a very nice beach. I think if you have a family, it's a really good beach to go to. So on this particular day, it was a chill day. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. My brothers were with my dad catching crabs. We were just having a relaxing time. My other siblings were off doing their own thing, and there was me, just sitting at the beach, listening to the waves. Now, at that age, I was very mentally mature. I knew a little too much at that age. And as I'm sitting there on the beach, I would say probably like an hour into sitting there, there's a woman, her head pops out of the water. And I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, maybe it's someone swimming. I remember as I'm glancing at her through my glasses, her hair looked like seaweed. And that's kind of what really caught my attention. So when her head popped out of the water, I remember just staring at her like, this person looks very different. I remember my thoughts got the best of me and I screamed out, hey you, just to see if I would get a response. And she turned her head, like she looked to the right of her because, she heard me. And I got extremely nervous. I'm like, oh, what did I do? I was kind of the kid that liked to mess with things that I shouldn't have. And when she turned her head, after I said, hey, I said it again. I was like, hey, you, who are you? And mind you, my parents were all the way at the other side of the beach. Like they were at the far left of me. So they didn't quite hear me. But for some reason, she heard me. She was just as far as they were.
So it's like a 6 or 7-year-old at a beach with her parents at a distance that the parents can't even hear her. That right there, crazy. The fact that she says she had 2 mermaid encounters where there are people who have never experienced mermaids in their entire life, to me, statistically damn near impossible. But I'm not going to diminish anybody's story. I'm always curious to know what people experience, right? But I'm also skeptical, bro. I'm not one of those people who are going to sit here and believe every conspiracy theory that we have to have facts. We have to have things that are backing it up, all right? But let's continue.
And I remember her dunking her head back underwater. Now, when she dunked her head back underwater, she was facing the opposite side. So I was looking at the back of her head. So when she came out of the water, she was facing me. And it's like I couldn't even see her face because her face had this extreme shimmer, like golden color that was just radiating from her face. And as a kid, I'm sitting there frozen. I was like that guy off of Get Out. I was just looking at her like... And I remember gripping the sand so hard, like it was embedded in my nails.
That's crazy.
Like, you know how a fish swims? Like how you see the riptides or like the ripples in the water? That's what I saw. When she dunked her head back in, came out, she started swimming towards me. Now, mind you, I'm sitting there staring at this entire thing. Like this person is coming up to me. And I was sitting on my bottom. I was sitting Indian style. And as she got closer, it's like her legs, her fins turned into legs. Like she was walking. And like I said before, I was frozen. I couldn't say anything. I couldn't even move my eyes. Like my vision was tunneled to her. I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, this lady is so beautiful. Like her hair, I remember, looked like black sea moss. Like it was very mossy and it was black and long. So she walked up to me and her walk was so glamorous and It was like an intimate moment. I can't really describe it. And every time I talk about this story, my lips tingle. I always have to lick my lips when I'm talking about this. It's very crazy. So I'm sitting there and she walks up to me. I'm looking up because I'm sitting down. And she kneels down and she grabs me and kisses me on my lips. Didn't say anything, didn't say hi, didn't say, who are you? Nothing. She kissed me on my lips. She gave me a smile, turned around, and walked away. The type of energy that ran through my body after she kissed me, like no language can really describe what I felt. There's nothing that I can say to describe that feeling. When she walked away, I just sat there staring at her until she got very, very far and dunked her head underneath. And when she dunked her head underneath, I could see her fin follow, just like that. And to this day, like, you know how people have, like, when they sense something, it's like you feel it in your head. But for me, I sense it in my lips. Like, my lips tingle really, really bad. And, you know, it's like that's something that no child can really forget. No child can really go to their parents and say, hey, this lady just kissed me. You know, it's nothing that you can go to your parents about. And, you know, to this day, I still dream about her.
That's insane, bro. So now my question is it real or was it just a dream? You know what I mean? I don't know, y'all. I'm genuinely curious to know what you guys think about this story in the comments down below. This is a topic of conversation that I've never touched on. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I would have this conversation with friends, like, oh, are mermaids real? Or aliens real? Stuff like that. Like, you know, just like conversation. But I've never actually looked into people's stories or people hunting mermaids or people experiencing mermaids. And I always hear it from different perspectives. She's the first person I ever heard that says it was a beautiful, glamorous, walking being. The first person. I've never heard anybody else talk about mermaids walking on out of water and kissing someone, right? Like, that could simply just be a dream or a movie recollection that she had when she was 7 years old that felt real. But then again, I don't know. Everybody's experience is unique. But I'm going to end this video here. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you do leave a like down below and subscribe. And I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.